Hey guys, welcome to fifth tutorial of Android Studio app development by World Free Apps. In this tutorial, I am going to explain you about Android application components, Android manifest file, activities, services, broadcast receivers, layout file, content providers, additional components. So let's start this tutorial and um, know about what are Android application components. Application components are the essential building blocks of an Android application. These components are loosely coupled by the application manifest file, which is this application manifest file Android manifest.xml that describe each component of the application and how they interact. There are four main components that can be used within an Android application. That are first component name is activities phone screen. This is activities. You can start activities component by starting this of activities, then press enter. You can name the activity you want to add in your Android apps. The activities phone screen is they detected the UI and handle the user interaction to the smart. And what is this services component in Android manifest file? You can start the services component by open bracket, then services, then enter and start the service that you want to add in your Android manifest file. The services component handle the background processing associated with an application. Services components is used for handling the background process in an Android app. What are these broadcast receivers? You can add broadcast receivers by just adding open bracket, then open brackets, then broadcast receiver, then add the broadcast receiver that you want to add. Broadcast receivers handle communication between Android OS and applications. And fourth main component is content providers. Content providers handle data and database management issues. So now you known about Android components, Android application components. Now what is this activities? An activity represents an activity. For example, this main activity .java. An activity represents a single screen with a user interface. In short, activity performs actions on the screen. For example, an email application might have one activity that shows a list of new emails, another activity to compose an email, and another activity for reading the emails. If an application has more than one activity, then one of them should be marked as the activity that is presented when the application is launched. An activity is implemented as a subclass of sorry an activity is implemented as a subclass of activity class as follows, like as public class main activity extends action bar activity or action bar activity. You can also use other activity only activity. Now import this or other types of activity in this activity.java file. And so let's talk about services. What is service? Say service is a component that runs in the background. I already taught you about services in Android manifest file. A service is a component that runs in the background to perform long-running operation. For example, a service might play music in the background while the user is in a different application, or it might fetch data over the network without blocking user interaction with an activity. A service is implemented as a subclass of service class as follows: public class My services extends service. Now let's talk about broadcast receivers, which I already have taught you about broadcast receivers in manifest file. So what are broadcast receivers? Broadcast receivers simply respond to broadcast messages from other applications or from the system. For example, application can also initiate broadcasts to let other application know that some data has been downloaded to the device. For example, if you download a file from an internet, then after the file when the file has been downloaded, you get a message that your file has been downloaded. That in this case, a broadcast receiver has been used for giving a message that your file has been downloaded to the device and is available for them to use. So this is a broadcast receiver who will intercept this communication and will initiate appropriate action. A broadcast receiver is implemented as a subclass of broadcast receiver class, and each message is broadcaster as an intent object. For example, public class my receiver extends public class receiver, public void on receiver context intent. You can use this broadcast receivers in Android activity.java file. You can add this broadcast receiver function in this activity.java file. Now let's talk about content providers. What are the content providers? A content provider component supplies data from one application to others on request. Such requests are handled by the methods of the content resolver class. The data may be stored in the file system, the database, or somewhere else entirely. A content provider is implemented as a subclass of content provider class and must implement a standard set of APIs that enable other applications to perform transactions. You can implement content providers by public class my content providers, extend content providers, then in brackets public void on create brackets. Now let's talk about some more additional components in an Android application. There are different types of other different additional components which will be used in the construction of the above already mentioned entities, their logic, wiring between them. These components are fragments, views, layouts, intents, resources, manifest. So what is this fragment component? Fragment represents a portion of user interface in an activity. Fragments represents a portion of user interface in an activity. This is the fragment. No, now let's talk about views component. Views component. What is views component? UI elements that are drawn on the screen, including buttons, list, forms. For example, you add a spinner on a screen. This is a view component. You add other, for example, button on a display. That is another view. That is another view on your Android display. For example, you add a plain text on display. That is another view. There are different UI elements available on your palette option, or also you can create more UI elements. So now let's talk about layout components. What is this layout components? It view hierarchies that control screen format and appearance of the views. This is the layout components. This is the layout components. This whole screen is the layout component. So what is this intent component? Intent is messages wiring components together. Intent is messages which sends message in your Android application, receives notifications, and open. Intent is used for opening web pages, receiving messages, and other such type of functions in your Android application. What is this resources components in your Android application? Resources means external elements such as strings, constants, and drawable pictures. Drawable, in which you add your app icon. Drawable resources means in which you add your layout component, main.xml file, menu. You want to add your menu in your Android application, uh, other images, icon, app icon, and other things, and other drawable and other picture in your Android app. If you want to add, you can use this resource components under drawable drawable folder under resource components. So now let's talk about what is this Android manifest component. Android manifest component is a configuration file for the application, uh, which which is which is for what the permission the app is uses. In this you can add permission to access network state, access surface flinger, Wi-Fi state, account manager, battery status, and other type of application you can use in your Android application by adding this component in Android manifest file. You can create many types of apps in Android Studio. By knowing all of these things, you get the basic knowledge of all of these things. So these all are components. Android manifest file, main.xml file, activity.java file, drawable folder, resource folder, manifest file, Java file, values, strings, styles. All of these in an app are components. From all of these combination, an Android app has been formed. From all of these you can create an Android app which will you can run on your Android mobile phones and create your own apps. So this was just an introduction to an Android application components. What are these all Android application components? What are the uses? How to use them? So this is the end of this tutorial. So thanks for watching, and subscribe to my channel for getting all updates on Android Studio app development, more other Python programming, HTML tutorials, and I also add Java programming, and other programming tutorials, Lust programming, C++ programming, C hash programming, PHP, other HTML5 tutorials, and other more different types of programming I will add on my YouTube channel after some time. So thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe to my channel for getting updates from my channel. So again, thanks for watching this tutorial, and in next video I am going to give an example of an Android application, how to create an hello world Android application. So again, a very much thanks for watching this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great videos. So thanks for watching. What happened?